Scal, how are the Celtics going to respond after dropping Game 2?
I mean, this roller coaster ride. I think they're 7-0 off of losses, and I do think they'll bounce back. They always do. I do think they're the better team, but we've had some moments. 23-2 against Miami, 14-0, 16-2. These are all runs that the other team has made, and it's all based off of the Celtics getting really loose with the basketball and it's having a bad 6 minutes, a bad 5 minutes, and that's the reason why they've kind of went 7 games with the Bucks without Middleton, kind of went 7 games with against Miami, but they're also a very good team defensively that usually bounces back, and Tatum usually bounces back. So I think that they'll take care of the basketball a little bit more in this game and not have that big-time lull that they had in Game 2.
Scott, I think one of the reasons why I'm going to appreciate your comment on this is because playing against you, watching your time in the league and listening to your pregame and postgame for the Celtics, I know the physicality part of the game is something that you embrace, right? And the physicality in Game 2 from Draymond Green, the tone that was set, the comments on his podcast afterwards about, nobody's trying to be ejected from the NBA Finals. How do you think the Celtics react to that? What kind of tone do you think will be set from the beginning of the game tonight in Game 3?
Yeah, so just unfolding Draymond's comments and the way he played. I love the way he played. I think it shows how smart he is as a basketball player and understanding if you're going to beat the Celtics, you got to kind of junk the game up. Like Klay Thompson hasn't been playing at a high level yet, so Draymond's searching for ways to win, and I thought he did a great job. The Celtics, I thought they got caught up into that. You have to almost deal with it, but you can't let it affect the way you play when you're the better team. The only thing I really had a problem with is him coming out on the podcast afterwards and saying that. I agree with Draymond. I don't disagree, and he's being honest, so I can't really fault him for that. But saying that is basically kind of sticking it to the NBA's face. I'm above the law. I can do whatever I want. The NBA is not going to kick me out, which I kind of disagreed with those comments. But as far as from a basketball standpoint, Draymond's not dumb. He knows exactly what you have to do to the Celtics. You have to kind of get under their skin. You've got to kind of make them uncomfortable. And Draymond's a master at the shenanigans and playing that way. The Boston Celtics aren't ready for that, nor is it their personality. So he sort of, in a weird way, I know Curry was amazing, but he dictated the tone and tempo of that game with the stuff that he was doing. And I give him all the credit in the world. I wondered, from you guys' perspective, after he did that on our show in the morning, we had 1 million callers call up and tell me how bad he is. It's the weirdest thing. The more he impacts winning and does those type of things, the more people call up and think that he's not a good player. And I disagree completely. I think he impacts winning at a high level.
Brian Scalabrine, former Celtic forward, 2008 NBA champion, joining us this morning on Keyshawn, JWill, and Max. Brian, Jayson Tatum has had an up and down series so far, played sparingly well in Game 1 in terms of the assist and playing defense and getting things going, but completely different in Game 2 in the second half. How can he be more consistent across the board to help his team win a game?
Yeah, and this isn't in particular to just Jayson Tatum. It's the Celtics. And this, I find their best style of play. This is really unique. A lot of teams don't like to play, driving kick offense or motion offense because the ball doesn't necessarily find your best players. You can end up having, role players taking a lot more shots. For instance, that was a good example of that was Grant Williams in Game 7 against Milwaukee. They literally just left him open, and he shot 18 threes that game. But I think when the Celtics are at their best, they're playing that driving kick, they're playing that motion offense with an emphasis to find Tatum and find Brown. And when they play that way, those guys kind of flow out of it, and they get a lot of their attempts. They get the ball in their hands a lot, and I don't think they force the issue. So I think Tatum played a brilliant Game 1, and I thought let the game come to him. You talked about the defense, the rebounding, all that stuff. I thought Tatum was great. He's just missed shots. And a lot of those shots were catch and shoot. They weren't, him trying to get into his bag and all of a sudden just having a really tough time doing that. I just thought the way that he was playing was he was playing exactly the way the Celtics need to play to win. In game 2, he made shots, so he still struggled. He still struggled inside the arc. Like he was at halftime, he was 2 for 9 from inside the arc, and the Warriors do a really good job of that. But 5 for 7 from outside the 3, and so people are saying, "Man, Tatum really bounced back. He played well." And I looked, and I'm like, I don't think that this is the way the Celtics beat the Warriors. I think this kind of falls into the Warriors' hands. So I think Tatum and Brown, it's as simple as this. Like when you play that driving kick motion offense and that ball comes to, let's say I was out there, and let's say I have a shot, I'm probably better off, doing that one touch pass over to Tatum just to get him a second shot. Now he can attack off the closeout, and especially, with 10 seconds on the shot clock. And now he's touched the ball on that possession 2 times. Now it seems like he's going to make a big-time play. Yeah. Maybe that's still him making another pass and getting an assist, but I just think the Celtics are at their best when they played that style versus I thought a lot in and it's kind of started out that way. Tatum and Brown started the game out making tough shots, but I think that they're at their best when that ball is moving with an emphasis to get it back to those 2 guys.
But, Scal, you and I both know this, brother. Like, 2 men can't be 5. They can get close. I mean, I've seen it. But you need guys like Al Horford. You need guys like Marcus Smart. I mean, Al Horford, 28 minutes, only 4 shots. Marcus Smart, 25 minutes, 6 shots. And also, really quickly, Scal, because I know we have to get going, but Robert Williams, took 1 shot for 2 points. That knee injury where Marcus Smart came into the left knee, what's his status, and how does this affect this team moving forward?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I think he's just a questionable, and he obviously affects the rim, the way that he guards. But you're right. Like it's one of those things. The Celtics are at their best when they spread it around. But I still think that it's still going to be your stars making those plays. It's still going to be Tatum and Brown making those plays. But
thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.